Adolf Hitler, born in 1889 in Braunau am Inn, Austria-Hungary, is perhaps one of the most notorious figures in history. From a seemingly innocent and gentle child, Hitler would go on to lead Nazi Germany and become the architect of one of the deadliest conflicts the world has ever known. His life story is marked by personal tragedies, political upheaval, and the development of extreme nationalist ideologies that would alter the course of history. This video explores Hitler's journey from a young boy with big dreams to the dictator responsible for the Holocaust and World War II. Early life and family background. Adolf Hitler was born to Alois Hitler and Clara Polzel. Alois, a customs officer by profession, had a troubled personal life. Born out of wedlock, he eventually took the name of his stepfather, changing his surname to Hitler. Alois was known for his volatile temperament and numerous extramarital affairs. His first marriage was to a wealthy older woman, but he later left her for his much younger housemaid, Clara, Adolf's mother. Clara and Alois had several children, though most of them died in infancy. Adolf was their fourth child, and his mother doted on him, perhaps excessively, following the loss of her previous children. Alois was a strict and often cruel father, especially towards Adolf, who was frequently punished. Their relationship was strained, with Adolf rebelling against his father's authoritarian nature. He was much closer to his mother, who was overly protective and deeply concerned for his well-being. Adolf's early years were marked by instability, with the family moving frequently, which meant he attended multiple schools. His academic performance was initially strong, and he was popular among his peers, although his love for playing war games and reading about historical heroes began to emerge early on. School years and adolescence. Hitler's childhood was marked by both academic achievement and early signs of rebellion. He enjoyed subjects like history and art, but his behavior became increasingly erratic as he entered his teenage years. He was frequently caught smoking, involved in petty acts of rebellion, and even organized a raid on a local orchard. His father's harsh punishment, along with the trauma of losing a beloved younger brother to measles, contributed to his growing sense of resentment. The death of his brother at the age of 6 left a lasting emotional scar on young Adolf, marking the beginning of strange behaviors, including speaking to trees and staring at the stars for hours. At school, Adolf became alienated from his peers, particularly the urban cool boys who treated him as a country bumpkin. He struggled in high school, repeating a grade and developing a more introverted, artistic personality. His desire to become an artist clashed with his father's expectations for him to follow in his footsteps and become a public official. This divergence of ambition led to more conflicts between the two. When Hitler's father died of a lung hemorrhage in 1903, Adolf, still only 14, was left to navigate his future on his own. A troubled youth. After his father's death, Adolf's life took a more aimless turn. He dropped out of high school, choosing not to take the final exams, and remained unemployed for several years. During this time, he lived a transient life, spending his days at the opera and struggling to find direction. He harbored dreams of becoming a renowned artist, but his attempts to gain admission to Vienna's prestigious Academy of Fine Arts ended in failure. Left without parental support, Hitler became homeless, surviving by selling postcards he had painted. It was during this period that his extreme ideological views began to take shape. Vienna, in the early 20th century, was a city rife with anti-Semitism, and Hitler soon became deeply engrossed in the racist and nationalist propaganda circulating at the time. Influenced by the ideas of local anti-Semitic politicians and right-wing publications, Hitler developed a profound hatred for Jews, whom he viewed as the enemies of the Aryan race. Military service and World War I. In 1913, Hitler moved to Munich to avoid military service in the Austrian army, where his allegiance to Germany was stronger than any loyalty to Austria-Hungary. His life, however, would soon take a more purposeful turn. In 1914, when World War I broke out, Hitler eagerly volunteered for the German army. He believed the war would give his life meaning and purpose, His time in the military helped him forge lifelong friendships, and he was decorated for bravery, receiving the Iron Cross. Despite many close calls with death, he survived the horrors of the trenches. However, Hitler's luck ran out in 1916 when he was injured by an artillery shell, temporarily sidelining him. In 1918, he was temporarily blinded by a British gas attack. The war's end, marked by Germany's surrender, shattered Hitler's world. The terms of the Treaty of Versailles humiliated Germany and fueled a sense of betrayal, which would later fuel Hitler's extreme views. He blamed the country's defeat on Jews, communists, and those he perceived as undermining the war effort. Post-war years and rise to politics. After World War I, Hitler found himself without a purpose. He remained in the army, working as an informant for the German military, observing political movements that could threaten the stability of the new Weimar Republic. During this time, he became involved with the German Workers' Party, a small right-wing nationalist group. He was drawn to the party's extreme views and soon became one of its most prominent speakers. His ability to inspire others with his passionate rhetoric propelled him to the top of the party. In 1920, Hitler renamed the party the National Socialist German Workers' Party, Nazi Party, and adopted its infamous swastika symbol. The Nazis were not initially clear about their political agenda, but Hitler quickly shaped the party into a vehicle for his own radical ideology, promising to undo the Treaty of Versailles, unite all ethnic Germans, and create a pure Aryan state. His anti-Semitism became a central theme, as he blamed Jews for Germany's suffering and perceived them as a threat to the Aryan race. The path to dictatorship. By 1923, Hitler's Nazi Party attempted a coup, known as the Beer Hall Putsch, to overthrow the government. The coup failed, and Hitler was arrested and sentenced to prison. During his time in prison, Hitler wrote his infamous book, Mein Kampf, in which he outlined his vision for Germany's future and his hatred for Jews and communists. Despite the failure of the coup, Hitler became a national figure, and his ideas gained a following. By the late 1920s and early 1930s, Germany's economic situation worsened due to the Great Depression. Unemployment skyrocketed, and the democratic government struggled to address the crisis. The Nazis capitalized on the widespread discontent, using propaganda to portray Hitler as the man who could restore Germany's former glory. In the 1932 elections, the Nazi Party became the largest in the Reichstag, but Hitler was still unable to gain the presidency. However, in January 1933, President Paul von Hindenburg appointed Hitler as Chancellor of Germany, underestimating his ability to seize absolute power. The road to totalitarianism. Once in power, Hitler quickly consolidated control. In February 1933, a fire broke out in the Reichstag building, and Hitler used the event to convince Hindenburg to sign an emergency decree allowing him to imprison political opponents. The Nazis quickly moved to suppress all opposition, arresting communists and other political dissidents. When Hindenburg died in August 1934, Hitler merged the office of Chancellor with that of the President, effectively becoming the Führer of Germany. With his absolute power secured, Hitler turned to aggressive military expansion, initiating policies that led directly to World War II. His regime's persecution of Jews and other minorities reached horrific proportions, culminating in the Holocaust, where 6 million Jews were murdered in concentration camps. Hitler's extreme ideology and pursuit of Aryan supremacy led to untold suffering, both in Germany and across Europe. And there you have it. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Stay curious and keep learning.